Vineyard Estates project. Because of the common managing member of the Political Reform Act and the Fair Political Practices Commission regulations provide that for conflict of interest purposes, Council members Comachero, Nagar, and Washington have an economic interest in the Europa Vineyards Estates project. Councilmember Comachero is also the president of the Rancon Group and is responsible for the development of Rancon projects and will receive income over the course of the year from other Rancon projects sold to the merchant builder Lennar Homes. Councilmember Nagar has also provided consulting services for certain Rancon projects. Normally, the approval of a final subdivision map is a ministerial action. This means that the council must approve the final subdivision map if it substantially conforms to the conditions of the approved tentative map, and the council cannot change the conditions of approval of the tentative map. In this case, the tentative map for Tract 23103-2 was approved in July 2005, and the layout of the tract and the required road improvements to Butterfield Stage Road were approved at that time. No changes to the layout of the tract or to the Butterfield Stage Road improvements that were approved in 2005 are proposed to be made at this time. The fact that this item involves the approval of a subdivision improvement agreement and surety bonds, however, makes it a discretionary action, even though almost every subdivision in Riverside County requires a subdivision improvement and surety bonds to secure the public improvements. Therefore, the conflict of interest rules apply to this action. Europa Vineyard Estates is within 500 feet of Tract 23103-2, and some of the improvements to Butterfield Stage Road required by the County of Riverside for that tract are also required of Tract 23103-2. State law requires that a quorum of the City Council be present to conduct business. A quorum is 3 members of the City Council. In this case, 3 members cannot participate in this manner. Under these circumstances, the FPPC regulations allow for one of the disqualified members to be randomly selected to participate in order to make the required quorum. I requested an advice letter from the Fair Political Practices Commission. The advice letter confirms this analysis and is attached to the staff report. The city clerk will make the random selection of one member to participate in the consideration of this item. The process she will follow, as described in the staff report, is a process that has been approved by the FPPC. Once the random selection is made, the council member chosen will be the council member designated for all council actions required for this tract. The final map and the subdivision improvement agreements are usually the last step in the process, but it is likely that there may be a further action involving the acceptance of the public improvements. The only other thing that I'd like to mention is that it was a somewhat lengthy explanation of this, but the FPPC regulations do require that that be made orally at the time this is made.
I have placed the names of council members Comachero, Nagar, and Washington onto equal-sized pieces of paper. I have uniformly folded these pieces of paper so they are equal in size and that the names are not visible. I have placed these in this clear bowl. When the mayor calls me to the podium, I will then draw one piece of paper with the name of the council member who will participate on this item.
Madam Mayor, at this time it would be appropriate to call upon members of the public who have requested to speak on the random selection process. Once the random selection process is made, but not before, members of the public would be able to speak on the final map and the subdivision improvement agreements.
All right. Do we have any speaker slips for anyone who wants to speak on the random selection process?
One speaker on this item.
All right. But not the selection process?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So, Peter, we can move on then?
Yes.
All right.
Madam Mayor, I have one question.
Mr. Roberts.
A procedural question. Do you need 3 yes votes, or can you do 2 and 1?
We need 3 members to constitute the quorum. That's why one is being selected to being brought back. But with the 3 members selected, this can be approved with 2 affirmative votes.
Okay.
So if the vote is 2-1 or 2 votes in favor and 1 abstention, it would pass.
I understand. Thank you.
All right, so 3 participating, and all we need is a majority,
Correct.
okay?
And point of order. if
Mr.
I may,
Nagar.
Madam Mayor, whoever signed up to speak, can we inquire to make sure they want to speak on the agenda item or the selection process? And the only reason is I want it to be as pure as possible. The agenda item is rather innocuous
Yes.
and typically would not have any speakers for it. So I just want to be certain.
All right, can you call the
Wayne Hall?
speaker and see? Mr. Hall, is this the agenda item, or is it the process? Process. Oh, good, come up then. Very good.
My name is Wayne Hall. I was born in Riverside County. I went to Sherman, but my daughters and sons go to Temecula Valley High School. Yay.
Go Bears. Okay, go ahead.
Exactly. I wholeheartedly support the way that the city attorney and the way we've done this. This is not our first time we've had to do this. And as a member of the Tea Party Express, which is over 800,000 people of California, I have no problems whatsoever with this, the way we're doing it. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Hall.
Thank you.
Might I add? Okay, go Pumas and go Wolfpack. Yeah, there you go. All right. So will the city clerk now proceed to the podium and make the random selection?
Or short stick. It's the short stick.
Councilmember Comachero.
So Councilmember Comachero will be participating in the vote, and we need Council Members Nagar and Washington to step out of the room. Thank you.
Better come back.
Until item 15 is completed, and as soon as they leave the room, I notice you're taking all your accoutrements with you.
Yeah,
Does this mean you're not coming back?
probably.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Chuck stays, I'll stay.
As soon as they leave the room, Mr. Attar is going to give us a staff report.
Need to make sure I have everything.
Waiting on you, Mr. Nagar.
Okay.
Have a good one. All right, Mayor, ready.
Okay. Mayor Edwards, member of the City Council, good evening. Tonight, we are recommending that you take the following 3 actions. 1, approve Tract Map 23103-2 in conformance with the conditions of approval. That's the property outlined in blue to the left side of the exhibit before you. 2, approve the subdivision improvement agreement for Butterfield stage improvement and in-tract improvements, and accept the faithful performance bond and the labor and material bond as security for the agreement. And the 3rd action is to approve the subdivision monument agreement and accept the subdivision monument bond as security for the agreement. This tract map proposes to subdivide an 18.26 acres property into 37 single-family residential lots. The property covered by this map is located at the northwest corner of Chemin Clinet and Butterfield Stage Road. The recorded title interest for this property belongs to Lennar Homes of California. For historical reference, on July 26, 2005, the City Council approved tentative tract map number 23102-2 for 3 years. Subsequently, several extensions were processed, extending the life of the tentative map to July 26, 2014. The developer has elected to post separate subdivision improvement agreements and bonds for the Butterfield Stage Road improvements and the N-Tract improvement. As such, the developer is obligated to execute the subdivision improvement agreements and the subdivision monument agreement and to post the required securities. At this point, the developer has met the terms of the conditions of approvals for map recordation, and this map is in conformance with the approved tentative tract map. The approval of a subdivision map which is substantially complies with the approved tentative map is mandatory ministerial act under state law. In a related matter, at the January 14, 2014 City Council meeting, Temecula resident Mr. Wayne Hall requested that the city consider adding a left turn pocket on northbound Butterfield Stage Road at Temecula, which leads to Chardonnay Hills and the southern entrance to the development. At the meeting, Mayor Edward requested that staff look into this matter. Staff reviewed current conditions in the field after the implementation of the street improvements and found that the suggested left turn pocket would enhance the operation of the intersection. Staff also determined that the width of Butterfield Stage Road at this location would accommodate the left turn pocket. Staff is working with the developer to implement the addition of the left turn pocket at this time. This concludes my report, and I'm available for any question you may have.
Does anyone have any questions? Will this be the Wayne Hall left turn pocket?
Possibly.
We'll call it the hallway.
The hallway, oh my gosh. So, Mr. City Attorney, can we take this with one vote, just item
Yes,
15?
it would just be a motion to approve the recommended actions.
Okay, so I will accept a motion
I'll
to
make that motion.
move item 15, and I will second. And please cast your votes. And it is 3-2, with 2 members abstaining. 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 How do we say that, Peter? One.
It's,
Good to nothing.
the vote is
I
2
mean-
yes, 1 abstain,
Okay.
and 2 members not present.
Okay, just not present. Okay. So there you have it. That's item number 15.
And
So,
that is, oh,
yeah, so it passes.
correct.
We have approval.